Back at it again at Krispy Kreme's. Yes, I'm still wearing the same outfit. I recorded all of this in the same day. I just foresaw that my week at work was going to be very fucking difficult, so I was like, I'm going to pre-record as many videos as I can. I pre-recorded too, so I think that's good. Basically, this is a very short video just to talk a little bit about something that I thought I was never going to do in this channel. A book haul. I know, right? If you're wondering why I wouldn't do a book haul, it's basically because all of the books that the book community and booktube hype up a lot are usually so fucking expensive in Brazil. It's because the exchange rate do you know what's cheap in Brazil? Books by Latin American authors. So I just spent a whole bunch of money on a whole bunch of books by Latin American authors. And since we are in the middle of the Latinx readathon, I thought it would be a great idea to show all of the books that I bought and maybe, you know, give more ideas about book recommendations that you can read in the month of August as well. So let's start. So basically the first book that I got is Pablo Neruda's 100 Sonetos de Amor, or 100 Love Sonnets. It's a 100 Love Sonnets. Like I said in my Latinx readathon video. But there are a couple of poems here that are just... There's this one poem that is... Let me find it. It's the... Okay, I'm gonna Google this one in English because I'm not translating this right off my head. So I wait for you like a lonely house till you see me again and live in me. And until then, my windows ache. So basically the next two books that I have, one I've talked about, one I haven't. One is The Open Veins of Latin America. I've talked about this in my Latinx readathon video and explaining a little bit more why this book is so relevant. But I also have another Eduardo Galeano book. That is the Book of Embraces, or El Libro de los Abrazos, something like that. And basically this is a collection of very short stories, like very short, like most stories are like a page long. Basically a collection of short stories that he wrote while he was traveling throughout Latin America and the encounters that he had with other Latin Americans, and just kind of getting a face to Latin American people and their struggles, but also their power and the resilience that they face. So this book is actually pretty nice. I'm kind of going slow. I know that I'm gonna like end this up really quickly, but I'm kind of going slow with this one because it's just so soft and so pretty and so delicate. I just want to make it last a little bit longer, so yeah. The next book that I have, I've also talked a lot about it before in the Latinx readathon, but it's Gabriela Cravo y Canela. Basically, again, really short summary of it. It's a story about a Syrian immigrant called Nasib, who has a cafe in the city of Ilhéus in the 1920s, and he loses his cook and he needs to find another cook like quickly, and he hires Gabriela. Gabriela is from out of town. She went to town looking for a little bit of work, and he basically hires her, and they kind of like strike a romance from there. The point of the book is not necessarily to look into the dynamics of their relationships, but in the hypocrisy and the lifestyle of 1920s Ilhéus. Ilhéus was very famous for its cocoa production, so it's a very rich city, and it's a very interesting social study to read. I also bought another book by the same author, Jorge Amado, and this is Capitães da Areia. Capitães da Areia is basically like Lord of Flies meets Six of Crows in Brazil, if it makes any sense. It's a very difficult book to read. This edition is super pretty though. The back has this beautiful flowers. Basically this tells the story of the band of misfits and outcasts in the city of Salvador as they travel around doing petty crimes, trying to survive and pretending they're like the owners of the city, but in fact they are not. It's very difficult to explain, but this is a very good book. I've read it before, and I read the library copy of it. And now I just bought my own. The next book I've also talked about in the Latinx readathon video. Basically, this is Isabel Allende, The House of Spirits. This followed 3 generations of the same family in an unidentified Latin American country as they go from plantation and post-colonial systems to the oppression of the military dictatorships, and the 3 generations of the same family kind of have to deal with the changes that the country that they live in is also facing. So this is a book that I haven't read, and I will read for the readathon. I strongly suggest you also pick it up because From what little I saw, it's actually really good. The next book that I have is also a collection of short stories. This is Sagarana by João Guimarães Rosa. João Guimarães Rosa was born in my state and he actually attended my university, so we have a connection here. Basically, this is a book with 9 short stories about the backlands of the state of Minas Gerais. It's interesting because these stories feel so close to home to me because I grew up around these people and I've been to many of the cities that he mentions in this book. And this is considered a literary masterpiece in Brazil. And I've read this so long ago and I decided to buy it because, one, I love Guimarães Rosa. I bought another book of his, but that's for the next Latin American book haul. It's actually interesting reading this book because now that I'm older, I can actually see what he meant to do. Like when we are in high school and we're forced to read this for, you know, college entrance exams and literature tests and etc. It does take a lot of the appreciation that you might have had for the book and for the work. It's gonna be interesting reading this with adult eyes because I remember liking it when I was a teenager, and I really want to know what I'm going to think about it now that I am an adult. And also, interesting fact about Guimarães Rosa. Guimarães Rosa was married to a woman called Aracide Carvalho, and they were both working at the Brazilian embassy in Germany during the Second World War, right before the Brazilian government actually called all of the diplomats back to Brazil. As they were working there, they actually went against direct orders from the Brazilian government and gave so many Jewish families visas to safely find their way out of Nazi Germany. His wife, Aracide Carvalho, is also actually called the Angel of Hamburg. So it's actually just a really interesting fact about Guimarães Rosa and the type of person that he is. He died. I don't think I have a single book by a living author. Oh no, Isabella Allende is alive. Okay. I read dead people. And finally, do I need to say anything? This is a collection of short stories by Brazilian author Clarice Lispector. The Complete Short Stories by Clarice Lispector. I'm so happy I have this. I'm so happy I have this. I have been longingly looking at this book in bookstores and bookshelves and in the internet for so long now. I love this woman so much. I love this woman so much. I love that I have this book. I'm so... Clarice Lispector was actually born in Ukraine to Jewish parents who actually emigrated from Ukraine trying to escape the losses that they suffered during the Russian Revolution, but also the Jewish persecution that was taking place at the time, the pogroms. And she emigrated to Brazil when she was 8 months old and basically just became Brazilian from the moment that she stepped on here. And I'm so happy I have money and I can buy this. Anyways, this is a very short video just to show you a little bit of the shopping that I've made while in quarantine. I love the concept of buying Latin American books. It's amazing to be able to read things that really show you in the place that you live and etc. I will do a wrap-up of these or keep you guys posted on these on my future wrap-up videos. But yeah, this is basically just a short video just to flex a little bit that I have books now. I was so happy when they came in the mail. I was so happy. Okay, anyways, this was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I see you guys next time. Bye!